Yo, bonjour à tous. Ça fait un bout encore que je n'ai pas streamé, je manque de temps. C'est horrible comment je manque de temps. En plus, l'hiver vient d'arriver, la neige est partout, il arrête pas de neiger, le souffleur marche pas. Ben, la souffleuse marche pas. Bref, je vais essayer de trouver. J'ai des vacances de Noël dans un mois. Je vais essayer de plus streamer. Là, au moins, aujourd'hui, j'étais à jour pour l'update le live stream de Genshin. Là. Donc, les codes vont être valides. Faudra pas que j'oublie les rentrer non plus. Étant donné que c'est arrivé 2 fois, je pense que j'ai oublié les rentrer. Fail. Donc le spécial programme, ça va être juste ça pour aujourd'hui, mais en fin de semaine, là, je vais essayer de trouver du temps. J'ai les événements à finir dans Genshin, puis éventuellement j'aimerais ça jouer sur d'autres, streamer sur d'autres de mes jeux. Donc je vais partir.
Hey traveler, what a surprise! I didn't expect to see you here. I bet you didn't waste any time as soon as you heard that Inazuma was organizing a Test of Courage event, right? Huh? I know you. Oh, what am I doing? Well, obviously I'm here scouting out the place. I've been investigating the area and I've already figured out all the plans for the event. Of course, I can tell you all the details. We're practically family. I'm Max Middleman, and this is the Genshin Impact version 3.3 special program. Let's roll the version 3.3 trailer.
Bon, qu'est-ce qu'il y a de nouveau? Ooh, trailer direct.
A friendly word of advice. Test of Courage events tend to give rise to a variety of strange rumors and stories. So please, be sure to exercise caution.
Ah! How was that? Were you scared?
Ce qu'il a dit de faire un fun fou à faire tourner cette boucle.
Who goes there?
So, is there really a ghost around here? Why this time I have a feeling that it's staring right at us?
Are you talking to me?
Jester, I have completed the task you gave me.
From this day forth, Balladeer and Kabukimono will cease to exist.
Je pense, faudrait que j'avance
Did you really
la
think you
main
would be
story
able
au
to
plus
see
triste.
through my plan?
Yo!
Dottore.
Ouais!
Dottore! In that case, I'll take some time for myself now.
En effet.
Squall and Fury! You dare to gaze upon me?
Dare to mess with me?
T'as des mots. Oh!
Too late for regret. Have fun with this gift.
Scaramouche, the mere fact of your utility does not make you indestructible.
Bon. Là, le perso que ben des filles attendaient. Fait que, by the way, rentrer les codes sont valides, je pense, jusqu'à ce soir, 11h. Pour ce qui c'est de l'heure du Canada, au Québec, whatever. Je sais pas combien de temps que ça. On va l'avancer un petit peu. Hop, là, c'est le volume qui monte. Et ici. Ah bah j'aimerais.
Hey everyone, and welcome
Je
to the
manque de
Genshin
temps.
Impact version 3.3 special program. I'm your host, Sarah Miller Cruz, the voice of Lumine in Genshin Impact.
J'aimerais
and
gamer
today,
plus,
I'm
par
joined
exemple.
by
Max, the one and only middleman voice of the one and only Arataki Ito.
And I'm Patrick Pedraza, voice of the Wanderer. But up until now, travelers have only known me as Scaramouche, and everyone's been battling me in the game lately.
Yeah, that's true. But to be fair, it's a really cool fight.
It's a really cool fight.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, I'm super
Que je n'ai
excited
pas
to have
encore
the chance
fait.
to share some upcoming content with everyone. What did you all think about that trailer?
Okay, so I definitely saw Irminsul in there, and I am really excited to find out more about it.
Yeah, that trailer had everything. It had everything. It had action. It had drama. It was lighthearted in places, but it was dramatic.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just super stoked for everyone to see Scaramouche's, like, backstory. I'm super excited about it, for reals.
Heck yeah.
Well, speaking of that, following the story's development, Scaramouche is still in Nahida's custody. So I bet the question everyone's wanting to know is how he'll become the Wanderer.
Yeah, for sure. And there's quite a story behind that. If you're interested, then be sure to play through the Archon Quest interlude chapter, Inversion of Genesis. There is so much to learn in this quest, so I hope everyone checks it out.
Oh, come on, man. You can't just leave everyone hanging like that. How about some hints? Come on, please. Please.
All right. How can I say no to a cute Chibi-Ito? Here's a little preview from the quest.
Ouais, j'espère que c'est pas de
We
spoil.
ran into two people at the academia today talking about an essay. Turns out their topic was about the Tatarasuna incident. From what they were saying, it sounded like lots of Tatarasuna's history is still unexplained. And most of the information we have now is just from people filling the gaps with their imagination. At least that's what they thought.
Well, they guessed right about one thing. Tatarasuna was sabotaged.
Ça montre pas grand chose, mais.
Wait, why
Tant
are they
mieux.
talking about Tatarasuna?
I guess we'll have to see. It is interesting, though, to see the Traveler, Nahida, and Scaramouche all together so peacefully like that.
Yeah, but
sure.
in this interlude chapter, Nahida will task the Traveler and Paimon with keeping an eye on Scaramouche while we go with him into Irminsul in search of some information.
Il faut vraiment jamais faire la main story.
Interesting. So obviously Nahida must have some reason for deciding to keep Scaramouche around.
Oh, yeah, totally. And I'm liking Scaramouche's new style. Ooh, dude's looking sharp.
Heck yeah, always. Nah, right. And at this point, he's known by a completely different name, the Wanderer. I love that name.
Okay, so I know I'm not the only one who's curious about what happened. I mean, it looks like he's really changed a lot.
Yeah, for sure. But I'm afraid that's all we can show for now. Travelers will have to experience the story for themselves in-game. I mean, it's better to explore the storyline without too many spoilers, right?
True.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, we'll leave the rest for travelers to discover themselves. But the Wanderer is also going to be a new playable character in version 3.3, so let's talk about that. I'm sure many of our viewers are curious about his talents.
Heck yeah, sure thing. Let's have a look at the Wanderer in combat.
Tu vois pourquoi ils ont changé son chapeau?
There's no need to exchange
Un peu.
pleasantries.
Ben, les couleurs.
It's rather pathetic to force a conversation just to occupy silence.
The wind
Oh.
rises. Bow your head.
La petite pute, peut-être qu'elle va me donner envie de faire des wish pour.
Alright, Patrick, you're up.
Asti-
Help introduce the
Bit.
Wanderer for us.
Sure thing. The Wanderer is a catalyst user and has an animo-vision, so he uses wind blades to perform ranged normal attacks.
Wait a second, Windblades?
Not the same
Ouais,
as
c'est
the
sûr que je veux toutes les
Traveler's
persos dans ma
wind blade.
collection.
Okay.
So, as everyone probably already noticed, the Wanderer can hover in
Oh,
the air
shit.
when he casts his elemental skill. Upon using his elemental skill, he will first deal AoE damage before leaping into the air and entering a hovering state. So, while hovering,
Ah, ça a
the
l'air
Wanderer's
intéressant.
normal and charge attacks will be converted into Kugo, Fushudan, and Kugu Tofukai respectively. The damage they deal and their AoE will be increased. Their damage will be considered normal and charge attack damage, respectively. Also, Kugu Tofukai will not consume stamina, and he can remain hovering for a certain duration.
That's so awesome. He can fly.
I know, right? But he can't stay hovering forever.
L'exploration
While
peut être
hovering,
pratique.
the Wanderer constantly consumes Kuguryoku points to maintain his hovering state, which is the blue meter you see on the screen. Even if he doesn't move or attack, hovering will still consume Kuguryoku points.
Okay.
So this mechanic works a little differently than our typical stamina meter. There are many possible actions the Wanderer can perform while hovering in the air, which all rely on Kuguryoku points rather than stamina. So,
Oh,
for
I
example,
guess qu'il va falloir jouer
sprinting
pour lui.
mid-air will consume additional
J'ai déjà
Kuguryoku
Ito,
points
puis,
to accelerate mid-air. And
je veux à
holding the
Twintail
sprint
aussi.
button will cause persistent point
Ah, c'est vrai qu'ils sont pas.
consumption to maintain
Ouais, ils sont en
speed.
même temps.
So, this effect will replace his default sprint. Jumping expends extra Kuguryoku points to increase hovering height. Holding jump will cause persistent Kuguryoku point consumption to keep increasing hovering height. Of course, running out of points will end his hovering state.
Oh, okay. So travelers will need to
Oh.
plan their actions while hovering.
Exactly. So, with his talent, Jade Claim Flower, when casting his elemental skill, if it contacts Hydro, Pyro, Cryo, or Electro, that instance of the skill will receive a corresponding buff effect depending on which element was contacted.
Oh my
So,
god,
for
puis
example,
ma Barbara, je pense qu'elle a
increasing
genre
his Kuguryoku points
122
cap,
de maîtrise
attack, crit rate,
élémentaire.
or restoring a set amount of
Puis
energy
m'a fait
upon
chaud, elle
hitting
fait des dégâts à
opponents with
tabarouette.
a normal
Oh
or
my
charged
god,
attack.
ok, ouais.
The Wanderer can have up to 2 different kinds of these buffs simultaneously.
Ooh.
Oh, look, check that out. Part of the halo behind him changes color depending on the buffs you get. So travelers will be able to easily understand what effects the Wanderer currently has.
I like that. It's helpful and still looks really cool.
Yeah.
So, after unlocking another talent, Gales of Reverie, when the
Ils vont
Wanderer
faire
is
mal,
in
ils ont mis
hovering
le paquet.
state, if his normal or charged attack hits an enemy, there is a set chance to gain another buff effect, allowing him to sprint midair without consuming Kuguryoku points. Additionally, this buff effect will fire wind arrows to attack the enemy.
Ooh.
Oh, dope. I'm sure extra buff effects like that will go a long way for players when they're in combat.
Yeah, for sure. And if you've noticed, there is a colorful aura of light around his body to indicate when that buff effect is triggered.
Saw that.
That's pretty cool. I love all the detail they've put into the Wanderer.
Alright, this brings us to the Wanderer's Elemental Burst.
Yay!
So,
mais ça,
check
live
this out.
aussi.
Upon unleashing his burst, he compresses the atmosphere and stomps it down toward the enemy. So, travelers should note that if the Wanderer is in a hovering state when he unleashes his burst, then the hovering state will end and he will begin descending after the burst is completed.
Okay, this stomping animation is a little aggressive.
Yeah, but it's cool.
I know, and it actually suits his character.
Yeah, I can't help but agree.
Wait. Let's not forget about the exploration talent.
Ah, yes. This is an interesting one. The Wanderer can decrease the Mora required when ascending bows and catalysts.
Hey now, you can never complain about saving more.
Oh.
Am I right?
Okay,
Huh?
that's true. All right, now that we've seen the Wanderer, let's move on to the next new character. Are you ready?
Quand même nice, c'est
I'm
nouveau. ça.
ready.
Yay!
What did you say? Oh, I'm old now, so every other phrase escapes my ears. Try calling me Madam Farozan, and I'll see if I can pick that up.
Twintail!
What is it that you would like to learn more about? Different forms of pressure-based puzzle mechanisms? The base layer design of elemental monuments? Huh. Wait. Did you forget to call me Madam Farozan just now when you asked your question? Whoa! What? There's nothing wrong with being afraid of thunder, even at an older age.
Oh, she sounds
gosh.
sassy.
And smart, too.
Je la veux.
He seems so
Je la veux.
awesome.
He's fun.
I wonder what her skirt's made
I know, her design is so cool and really detailed. I love it.
So, even though she looks super young, she's actually an old person? Like, where's my teeth?
Well, she's not that old.
I
Oh,
don't know,
right.
could've fooled me.
Farazan's age is probably still nothing compared to Scaramouche.
But let's call him the Wanderer, Sarah. Please.
Okay, you know who I meant. Actually, now that I think about it, yokai can also live a really long time too.
That's right, yeah, no, and speaking of age, isn't the Traveler's age also kind of mysterious?
Hey, thanks!
True. It looks like all of our characters are intriguing. But it's safe to say that Faruzan is way older than most people in Teyvat. Faruzan works in the Academia's Haravatat Darshan and has been a Hairbod, which roughly means
Oh,
mentor, for over a
Prochaine
century.
fois que
So I bet
jouer
everyone out
pour
there
les,
is wondering
les
she's
deux.
also some kind of creature blessed with long life, you know? Like Klee?
En plus, c'est Shogun
No,
Raiden qui
she's
arrive.
actually just your regular, typical human being.
Oh.
Well, maybe not so typical. About 100 years ago,
Puis je
Faruzan
veux pas
was an
assez faire assez de
undisputed
vœux.
genius, traveling all around
Sad.
Sumeru and solving many puzzles and mysteries. The notes she
Bon,
left
peut-être qu'il va y avoir plus
behind
de temps sur mon
eventually
site.
became the basis of mechanical research for later generations.
Whoa, she sounds pretty amazing.
But
le
later,
prochain
she
mot.
accidentally stumbled into some
Décembre.
ruins while trying to solve a puzzle. There, she encountered some strange phenomenon which stopped her from aging, and was trapped there for nearly 100 years. She eventually solved the puzzle and was able to finally return to Sumeru.
Can you imagine being trapped in a puzzle for 100 years? Wait. So that's how she's been Hairbod for over a century.
Yeah. And even now, she still has the pride of a scholar in her heart and is a very talented person. It's just that after being separated from the world for so long, she's kind of fallen behind the times now.
Oh, hey, I get what you mean. She was once a proud researcher in a niche field that has become unpopular after 100 years. So, is she still completely dedicated to her field?
Yep. And she often tries using her old age as a means of drumming up support for her ideas. However, I think she'd prefer to be complained about for using her seniority rather than garnering sympathy for her experience of being trapped in the ruins.
Yeah, sounds like she's quite the character.
I know, right? Okay, so now that we've covered her backstory, why don't we take a look at Faruzan's abilities in combat?
Yes,
Do
ah
it.
oui.
Fight.
100 years have passed, yet there hasn't been
Ah,
any
qu'est-ce que c'est un archer?
dumb rules at the Academia. Dare to mess with me?
Archer Anemo?
Have fun with this gift.
J'en ai pas, j'ai pas 26, puis c'est pas ma
I
priorité.
love all the geometric shapes when she's playing. Did you guys see that?
Yes, there's so much geometry, and I took geometry.
It looks so cool.
Ah, yeah.
So, Faruzan is an Anemo character, and she wields a bow as her weapon. Her normal attacks are the usual bow attacks you'd expect from a bow user, so there's not too much to say about that. But her skills are where things get interesting. Her elemental skill deploys a polyhedron that deals damage to enemies. After using
Je
her
pense
skill, her
déjà avoir une
next
idée quelle
aimed
arc que je
shot
vais y
will become a
mettre.
special attack that creates a vortex, pulling nearby objects and opponents in.
Oh, nice. So she can clump enemies together.
And there's also another thing about her special charged attack. It will create a vortex effect at its point of impact, and if the attack hits an enemy or ally member, it'll apply a mark and create a vortex after a short delay.
Okay. So it looks like there will be a lot of potential uses for this attack. Travelers will have to experiment with it and see what they come up with.
Yeah, I think it'd be amazing to
No
try
more
putting
steroids.
teammates with the arrow in co-op mode and have them charge into the enemies to group them all together. I'll have to see who wants to try that with me. After unlocking the talent Impetuous Flow, the time required for fully charging Faruzan's next shot will be reduced, and the arrow will reduce the target enemy's anemo resistance. In her elemental burst, she deploys a dazzling polyhedron and releases a whirlwind pulse. Throughout its duration, the dazzling polyhedron will
ok, donc ça va être
continuously
le
move
fun,
along
je veux
a
les deux.
triangular path. Once it reaches each corner of that triangular path, it will unleash one more whirlwind pulse.
Yeah, 1 minute she's here, the next she's polygone for 100 years. Bada boom!
No.
Sauf que j'ai déjà une archer dans ma
Are
team.
funnier than that.
It was pretty funny.
Alright. Anyway, let's hear what
Ouais, bon,
effects
ça m'a
these
pas joué
whirlwind
avec,
pulses have.
Sure. When the whirlwind pulse hits opponents, it will decrease their anemo resistance. It will also apply an anemo damage buff effect to all nearby party members when it's unleashed. Travelers should note that the effective range of this buff is quite large, and it's not just within the whirlwind pulse itself, so there's no need to go chasing the polyhedron. After unlocking her talent, Lost Wisdom of the Seven Caverns, when a team member uses normal, charged, or plunging attacks, elemental skills, or elemental bursts to deal anemo damage to an enemy, the damage will increase based on Faruzan's base attack. This effect can only be triggered once for a certain duration of time.
Oh, so it seems she'll be the solid support.
Yeah.
Totally! And as a researcher of mechanics and puzzles, Faruzan has taken it upon herself to explore many ruins, with her travels taking her all across Sumeru. Her exploration talent reflects this, and she gains more rewards when dispatched on a Sumeru expedition for 20 hours.
I'm sure no other
Donc,
mentor
même pas
or
besoin
Automat
de
has
description
100
pour le
years of
cache.
experience in solving puzzles.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's pretty hard to beat. So, the big question is, when can travelers expect to get these new characters?
That is a good question. Let's talk about the upcoming event wishes. In the early part of version 3.3, the Wanderer and Arataki Ito will be available via their own event wishes. Faruzan will also be making her debut in these event wishes. In the later part of version 3.3, we'll be seeing rerun event wishes for both the Raiden Shogun and Kamisato Ayato.
À part Ito, c'est toutes des persos que j'ai
The
pas.
new 5-star catalyst, Tule Tula's Remembrance, will be appearing in a new weapon event wish.
And that's not all. In version 3.3, 2 brand new artifact series will become available. So travelers should be sure to check out the corresponding domain.
Woo! More artifacts!
All right.
I hope travelers will have fun experimenting and trying new combinations with these.
Yeah.
Okay, we've already talked about a ton of new content, so why don't we take a quick break with another redemption code?
Sounds good. Roll out the code.
Woohoo!
N'oubliez pas les rentrer. Ça aurait été supposé être un event pour Utao, mais bon. Il me semble que ça fit pas. C'est plate parce que ça fait un petit bout qui est pas revenu. Puis j'ai remis ça à la poignée.
Welcome back to the version 3.3 special program. Okay,
Qu'est-ce que
Patrick,
ça?
what do we have next?
So next, we'll be
La
covering
parapluie?
the upcoming events for the new version.
That's right. We've already mentioned the Test of Courage event, and I'm sure plenty of you were wondering about that, so let's start there.
Aha! You must be here to participate in the Test of Courage. I can already see a dark aura surrounding the two of you. If you carelessly go running into the event, all it'll take is one little misstep, and the darkness will swallow you up.
Qu'est-ce que
Some
ça?
strange and unusual things may occur along the way. If you ever feel you can't handle it, you may withdraw from the event at any time.
Ça aurait été genre un
This is
test
your
pour.
last chance.
Ça
I'll count it down. 3, 2.
aurait été un truc pour Utao, puis en plus pour
Welcome to
Halloween.
the test of courage. Enter at your own risk.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it is a test of courage, so I'm sure there'll be some scary stuff going on there.
I ain't scared.
Anyway, to successfully clear this event, we'll be facing a series of little tests.
Ooh, what's this? Tests, you say?
Yes, that's right. Word has it that if you walk around the test of courage, you might find yourself encountering a special sort of game. We've already got the rules down, so I'll do a quick introduction. Basically, travelers will have to control a bouncing bar to bounce a ball and use skill ball effects to break as many bricks as possible.
Okay, I'm liking this one. Seems pretty straightforward.
During the game, travelers will be able to trigger elemental reactions to break
Oh.
bricks more effectively.
Oh!
Nice! It even has elemental reactions.
Yeah, we can control the
Come on,
character
nice.
to move the bar. When the character we're using is either pyro, hydro, cryo, or electro, the
Ay, ça va être le
corresponding
fun, ça.
element will be applied to the bar. By switching characters, you can change the element of the bar.
Okay, all the pieces are falling in place
Pardon?
now. The bar can infuse a certain element,
sorti de nulle
and the
part, lui.
blocks also have their own elements, so causing a skill ball of one element to hit blocks of different elements will trigger elemental reactions. There, how'd I do?
Yep, you nailed it. The bar will add the element corresponding to your character. Besides triggering reactions the way you just mentioned, if the
Inspiré de
skill ball
quelques
is
petits jeux.
already
Oh.
infused by an element and it hits the bar, it will also trigger a
Thanks.
reaction, causing the skill ball to have some additional effects. When preparing your team, you can equip modifiers to receive various buff effects, which will help you successfully clear the challenge.
T'es sûr dans le stream
Also,
que tu m'as
when there are
envoyé?
less than a
Parce que je pense
certain
qu'on
amount
les
of
avait
bricks
déjà
on the board,
envoyés.
and the ball lands another hit, the bar will unleash fireworks.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah. Travelers can utilize this effect
Mais c'est
to
toujours
break
plus
some
facile de
bricks that would
copier-coller.
normally be difficult to hit directly.
It's like a bonus attack.
Oh,
Yeah.
sweet.
So, travelers will need to select characters of the right elements, equip the appropriate modifiers, and use different elemental reactions to break bricks and score more points.
And then travelers will be able to use their points to exchange for rewards in the event shop, correct?
That's right. Also, travelers will have the option of teaming up and playing the event together in co-op mode.
il va jouer
Oh, looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, super fun.
Yeah, in addition to this minigame, the Test of Courage storyline will also contain more challenges. Travelers will even have a chance to meet with some good friends again, so be sure to check out this new event. Alright, let's move on to our next event.
Viens on va parler de
next
l'arme.
up, we have a race event called Across the Wilderness. Your objective, collecting balloons.
Woo!
I don't know, seems like the Wanderer's abilities might come in real handy here.
I know, right?
So, in this event, each stage will have wilderness balloons scattered all around. Travelers will need to find as many wilderness balloons as possible within the time limit to earn increasingly better rewards. So, during the challenge, travelers will be able to utilize their character's skills and talents. So, it'll be important to
J'aime ça, les
assemble
trucs de
the right
parcours.
team depending on the traits and terrain of the challenge area.
Oh,
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah, so
sur
travelers
le
can
bateau.
also use something called the Wilderness Compass to obtain various buffs, which include enhanced jumping capabilities, increased movement speed, or unlimited stamina, etc.
Ooh, cool.
However, you can only claim one buff during each challenge. You must consume Blessed Energy to use the compass and gain the selected buff. You may charge the compass up by finding wilderness balloons or interacting with Blessed Energy in the challenge. Or you can always wait for the compass to passively charge over time.
Yo, this event looks pretty crazy. It's almost like watching parkour.
Yeah, there are two different kinds of wilderness balloons in these challenges. The first is harvest balloons, which will increase the overall progress of your search for wilderness balloons. The other kind is sonar balloons, which will cause several harvest balloons to appear around you for a set amount of time.
That's awesome.
So there will be 5 stages available for this event, and travelers will need to
Y en a
consider the
partout.
conditions and terrain of each stage to come up with the best way to complete it. Also, travelers may team up in co-op mode
Ooh.
for challenges.
Ooh, more chances to play together. I love it.
Yeah, same. Okay, let's move on to our next event.
Everyone's favorite game of hide and seek is back with the Wind Trace event. And of course, this is going to be another co-op event, and I for one am super excited for it.
There's nothing like a good co-op. Many of you might already be familiar with this event by now, but there have been a few changes. Let me introduce what travelers can expect to see this time around.
C'est quoi celle-là déjà?
We can probably skip some of the basics this time. You know, players either hide or seek. And then...
Okay, wait a second.
Oh,
there
wait,
actually
okay.
might be some new travelers out there who've never seen this event before. So why don't you start with some of the basics?
Right, good point. Okay, let's start at the beginning then. This is a game with a long history in Mondstadt. Travelers will be split into 2 different sides, the Rebels and the Hunter. You will need to use skills and master the art of hiding or chasing down others to win this event. The goal of the Hunter is to capture all the Rebels, while the Rebels run or use other means to keep themselves from getting caught by the Hunter.
Okay, that's straightforward enough. So, what else
C'est
you got
drôle
for
en
us?
crime cet event-là.
Well, some travelers may remember playing as the Rebels and getting caught early in the game. Once that would happen, all you could do was spectate and watch the rest as the others continue playing. But this time around, once you're caught, you'll still be able to participate in the match even in observer mode.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Once you're in observer mode, you can't be seen by other players and will receive the Illusory Beacon skill. This skill will allow you to place a random beacon to confuse the Hunter. If it successfully tricks the Hunter and is destroyed, then the Hunter will suffer
il va y avoir
an
plus de travail d'équipe,
obscured
ça va être
vision
nice.
effect.
So even after you've been captured, you can be like a little ghost trying to help your teammates by disrupting the Hunter.
Yeah.
That's pretty fun. And at least you won't have to sit there and just
what the fun.
watch the rest of the match anymore.
Exactly, but what does the Hunter get this time? I mean, we gotta keep it fair.
Some new Windward arts have been added for both the Hunter and the Rebels. The Hunter will now be able to use the Hunter's Net. This net can be thrown and will remove any Rebel disguises within its range, and will notify the Hunter that a Rebel was detected. If a beacon is caught in the net, it will be destroyed, and the Hunter will not suffer from obscured vision.
Nice. So I guess if you love playing Hunter, you'll probably love this.
Oh yeah, you definitely should. The skill rebels used in previous versions of the game to place beacons can now only be used by players in observer mode. However, the rebels will be able to use an all-new concealing beacon skill. This skill will allow you to deploy a beacon for a set duration and remain invisible while you're around that beacon. All players, including your rebel teammates, will be unable to see you while you're invisible. If the concealing beacon is destroyed by the hunter, then the hunter will have their vision obscured for a short time. Sounds pretty fun, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you end up being captured by the hunter at the start of the game, you'll still be able to participate and assist your teammates. And, did I mention Primo Gems and other rewards? Ah, the good stuff. So be sure to check it out.
Oh, that's awesome. Seriously, I can't wait to play with friends. Okay.
Ils ont pas
our
parlé.
next
Je suis
event
surpris, ils ont pas
is
parlé de
a
la
combat-based
parapluie.
event.
Time for some combat! In a forbidden place warded by dust and sand, mysterious foes have assembled lines of fortifications to stop your coming. That's right, a new edition of Misty Dungeon will arrive in version 3.3. Stoked.
Sweet.
But this time around, there will be a total of 7 trials with different themes awaiting you in the Misty Dungeon. Each has a different leyline disorder, and travelers will have to adjust their teams according to the disorder's effects and the distribution of enemies. There will also be trial characters for you to select from as well. After entering the domain, travelers will need to go and complete 3 challenges to collect ancient runes. After collecting power from 3 ancient runes, we can power up the control array and proceed to the final challenge. Also, throughout the trial, additional benediction mechanisms and challenges will appear. Travelers may choose to interact with these to increase the leyline disorder's effects or revive and heal your team.
You know, if it were up to me, I'd say just go for all the challenges.
I know, but travelers should keep in mind that the challenge objective for each trial might be different, so be sure to check the objective and aim for that while proceeding. In terms of rewards, travelers can look forward to winning Primo Gems and other various prizes. Yes.
Ooh, I like prizes.
And last but not least, version 3.3 will also have leyline overflow events. Travelers can look forward to saving their resin and earning more Mora and experience books.
Nice, that's awesome. That'll be great for all the travelers out there still leveling up all their new characters. And even if you don't need those resources now, it's always good to stock up and have more on hand, am I right?
Yeah. So
J'ai pas
travelers
mal
looking
plus
to
besoin
upgrade their
là, c'est
characters
des
won't want to miss this.
Yeah, I mean, this is all good stuff.
In addition to the new version's limited time events, version 3.3 will also be adding a new permanent game mode called Genius Invocation TCG.
Genius Invocation TCG!
But before we get into that, let's take another quick break and enjoy a redemption code! Yay!
Yeah. Slap that code on the screen!
Je pense que le jeu de cartes était pas nécessaire, mais bon, ça peut être le fun. Il n'y a pas de rentrer vos codes.
Welcome back, everyone. During our journey into VAT, we've stumbled across several NPCs talking about a game called Genius Invocation TCG. So next, we'll introduce this card game that's been taking Teyvat by storm. In the version 3.1 special program, we already revealed that Genius Invocation TCG will be a card game where we can challenge various characters and NPCs or battle against your friends. But there is actually a legend behind this game. It is said that a young guy in Sumeru found an ancient casket of tomes in the attic. He opened it and discovered that the soul of an ancient TCG player called the Crocodile King had been captured inside.
What a name.
Whoa, what?
It turns out that the Crocodile King was King Deshret's viceroy, who battled an opponent named the Ibis King. During the match, the Crocodile King fell prey to his opponent's scheme and was sealed away in the casket of tomes.
Ouch, game over.
After being unexpectedly released by the kid, the Crocodile King possesses him and helps him to gradually climb the ranks to becoming a legendary TCG player.
Nice. Hang on, is it just me or does that kind of sound like the plot to a light novel or something?
You're right. It turns out that Yai Publishing House is about to release a hit light novel series based on Genius Invocation TCG.
Okay, now this is starting to sound like a plug for Yai Publishing House.
Maybe. But anyway, that's the legend on how Genius Invocation TCG came to be. Though it's probably just a story they came up with for marketing the game.
So while you were telling us about the story, I was over here researching the rules to the game. Basically, Genius Invocation TCG is a game where you use a constructed deck of cards to duel against an opponent. The objective is to defeat all of your opponent's character cards.
That's right.
Classique.
Also, there are many features and mechanics in the game that resonate with Genshin Impact's gameplay, so it shouldn't be too hard for players to get the hang of.
Right, I even
Quand
saw some
même
elemental
nice, mais
reactions
je
in
suis
the
pas
gameplay.
très.
Yup, a
C'est le genre de
constructed
jeu
deck
de
must
cartes, là.
contain character cards. And as you might expect, these character cards have a normal attack, an elemental skill, and an elemental burst. So when a character card deals elemental damage to an enemy, it will cause them to be affected by that element. Then, you can switch to a character card of a different element and use their abilities to trigger an elemental reaction.
Wait, did you guys notice that there are even monster character cards? Can we even make a deck of, like, just the monsters from the game?
You're really getting into this, Max.
Heck yeah, I am! I like card games!
Who doesn't?
So in Genius Invocation TCG, all actions require you to spend elemental dice. Each round, both you and your opponent will roll 8 elemental dice. Each of these elemental dice can have any one of 8 elemental attributes.
Hold on, but there's only 7 elements in the world of Teyvat.
You're right. So in addition to the 7 standard elements, there's also one called the Omni element. The elemental dice required for a character card to perform an action correspond to the character's element. So, for example, a Pyro character like Diluc needs either Pyro or Omni elemental dice to perform an action.
Tu sais, il y a
Clear
déjà
now?
tellement de stock à faire sur le
Yep,
jeu
crystal
de
clear.
cartes. J'ai pas le
Also,
temps de faire ça.
elemental dice
là.
can be used to switch characters or play a variety of other cards, such as equipment cards, event
Peut-être pour le
cards,
monde qui
and
passe leur
support
temps
cards.
sur le jeu, ok.
All
mais
these cards create the potential for a variety of strategies.
J'ai
While
autre chose à
playing
faire
Genius
dans ma
Invocation
vie.
TCG, travelers can earn player experience, which will increase your player level. As your level increases, you'll be able to challenge more characters and NPCs. By completing challenges, you may earn lucky coins, new cards, or other rewards. Lucky coins can be exchanged in the event shop for cards, or can even unlock dynamic skins for certain cards.
Dynamic skins? Those are cards that have moving illustrations, right?
That's right! All character cards can unlock a dynamic skin. After unlocking that, there'll even be a cool bonus animation whenever you cast that character's elemental burst.
Cool.
And if you're confident in your TCG skills, you can also invite a friend to duel. After reaching a high enough player level, you'll even unlock a matchmaking mode. So be sure to give it a try.
Travelers should note that playing against your friends or other travelers won't count towards any leaderboards or provide any rewards. So you can relax. It's all just for fun. Okay, that's everything
Bon,
we
c'est
have
des
for Genius
récompenses.
Invocation TCG, and that brings us to the end of today's special program.
Oh.
So, what did you think?
Why does it have to be over? There's so much that this version has to offer.
Yeah, I can't even take it all in right now. I'm just super stoked to be part of this. I think I just gained some Kuguryoku points just doing this whole thing, so.
Man, the new characters look cool.
I know, what about Scaramouche hovering? Like, that's insane.
I know, that's awesome.
That's super dope.
That's awesome, and I cannot wait to play in some of these events and mini games. I'm super excited. This was so fun. I'm really glad that we got to do the special program together.
I'm so happy I got to come back for another special program. This is my 3rd time being on one of these, and I can't wait for number 4.
Ouais, c'est vrai qu'il
I'm
il
so
t'a fallu
happy.
souvent.
This is my first one, so thank you for having me.
Doesn't it feel good?
Yes,
Doesn't it feel good to feel special?
Oops.
Do you feel special?
I really do. Thank you.
Well, I think this is the end of our special program. So, I hope everyone enjoyed it, and we'll see you in game. Okay, bye!
Bye!
Okay, bye, everybody!
Bye,
Hop.
everyone!
See you
Bref.
later!
Bref, bon, bah, c'est ça qui termine le petit programme pour aujourd'hui. Ça sera tout pour l'heure qu'il est. Donc, je vais essayer de streamer sur Genshin demain ou après-demain. Puis sinon, si je stream sur Genshin demain, ben dimanche, je vais essayer de streamer sur un autre jeu. Mais en portant ma carte graphique me limite un petit peu. Là. J'aimerais faire un peu d'Apex, mais il bourre sa carte graphique, lui. Surtout que le moniteur que j'ai, c'est un peu dur. Il faut que je check dans les graphiques, mais streamer en même temps, puis en même temps, tu sais, je peux facilement jouer sans problème, là, mais quand il faut que j'utilise ma carte pour la GoPro, le jeu, puis le stream, ça marche pas. Ben, je dis ça marche pas, là, mais ça marchait pour juste sur Twitch. Fait que faudrait que je le teste, mais si ça chie, je pourrais pas. Mais bon, c'est ce qui conclut le programme. Donc, je vais essayer de streamer le mois prochain un peu plus. Je vous souhaite une bonne soirée et une bonne nuit. À la prochaine. Bye bye.